This is a program you will need to do some recording. It's called Audacity. So you can just Google it, Audacaty. It's at sourceforge.net. You just go there, click, and you just download. Now, if you have a Mac computer, you may already have a program built in. What the program does is it records your audio. So here's what the program looks like. And what you do basically is you make sure over here to the right you're going to click your speakers and make sure you're using, like right now I'm on a headset and it's called a Dynex USB. So I'm making sure to choose that, and my microphone is also that. But if you're recording something like right here, check 1, 2, 3, check, and you see these things right here that are moving, that tells you that you're getting sound there. And if you want to start over, you can just click undo record. But anyway, that shows you that it is recording, and if it's not, you need to come over here to your microphone and find the one that you need to use. If you're using a Mac, I don't know what to do because I've not used one, so you'll have to figure that out. Next, you will need to record a summary of the person you just did an interview for. And you should do that immediately immediately after you do the interview, because it's very fresh in your mind and you won't have much trouble coming up with something to say. So what I do to do a summary is I look at this right here. So I go to businessinnovatorsmagazine.com/Steve Newsom, Houston Real Estate Attorney. If you need to stop the video to search and write that down, go ahead and do that right now. And what I do is I very often just kind of follow this format and come up with the summary of people. And we need anywhere from about 125 to 200 or 300 words. Usually mine are around 125 to 150. And so I'll start out saying, as a blank who specializes in blank, and then the person's name, helps countless and whoever they're helping. And the one I'm working on this right now is on professional speakers, and so I can't say in a certain town because speakers generally travel all over the place, and so this has to be rephrased. Now, if you were doing this on, say, a dentist, you would say, as a dentist who specializes in helping children have healthier mouths, Dr. Jones helps countless young folks in the, wherever he's from, Houston, Texas area. And then you go on to say the next thing. So these next two paragraphs are basically what is said and asked and talked about in the interview, and also gives information on the person you talk to. So I like to say things like, in this interview you will hear blah blah blah, whatever the person talked about. And this is another reason why you want to immediately do the summary, because that's fresh in your mind what you talked about. You may find at some points that when you do an interview, the information a person talked about, it just wasn't even clear to you. So just do the best you can and come up with something that sounds intelligent. And then you can expand on that a little more here. Another things I like to do is also talk about where, like in professional speakers instances, I very often say where they speak, where they're based out of, in other words, where they live, and if they've written books, which usually they have, I'll name the books unless they got too many of them, then I might name one or two. And then on the last one, I always say, to learn more, contact so-and-so at, and it could be a phone number, it could be a website, it could be an email, or it could be a combination of those. So I'm going to give you a real example of how I do this. And this is for a professional speaker named Marsha Reynolds. And so I'm going to click here on this red button and start. Oh, before I start, also notice what I'm doing right now is I'm dictating to this machine, and a lot of times I'll hit pause over here because I have to gather my thoughts and think, okay, what am I going to say next? And that's okay to do that. So here we go. Okay, I just realized I cannot record two things at the same time. The computer won't do that. But now you know what to do about pausing and recording and such. So what I'm going to do right now is just record that in this video so you can hear what I'm saying. So here we go. Dr. Marcia Reynolds is a professional speaker who helps people all over the world with emotional intelligence. Next paragraph. Dr. Reynolds has found that people in general are in need of help with emotional intelligence and various other human necessities. During this interview, Dr. Reynolds discusses some important ideas on how people can be helped with emotional intelligence. For example, she discusses a technique to help people learn to tell the difference between what is actually real and what is not, because people will have something in mind and react to it from certain emotions, but the item they are reacting to may not be real at all, as it might even be made up, period. So that's one of the important things that Dr. Reynolds discusses in this interview among several other items. Next paragraph. Dr. Reynolds has written 3 books. The first one is called Outsmart Your Brain. The second one is Wonder Woman. The third one is The Discomfort Zone. The last 2 are Amazon bestsellers. Next paragraph. To learn more, call Dr. Marcia Reynolds at outsmartyourbrain.com. Now, okay, that's the end of the summary, but I wanted to see if you just picked up on something that I made a mistake on, just right at the last. Because I wrote or said, if you want to learn more, call Dr. Reynolds at outsmartyourbrain.com. You can't call a website. So what that should have said was contact her at outsmartyourbrain. And so with the Audacity program shown here, you can easily go back and undo what you did. In fact, you can just highlight a portion of it just like this. You go back and hit your scissors, it takes it out, and then when you hit record, it opens up another window like this one right here that's in the yellow, this part here. It opens up a brand new one down below, and it starts recording where the one above it left off. Now when you're done with this, when the recording is correct, then you go to File, and you're going to click on Export Audio. Then you're going to send it to the appropriate place. And right now the appropriate place is at a Dropbox, Authority Marketing, BIM Interviews, and whatever folder we are speaking with. That could be speakers. So if we're doing speakers, in this case it's Marcia Reynolds. And there it is there. You would click that folder, you would name it, and what you want to do is name it Summary and the person's name. So this would say Summary Marcia Reynolds, and then you would hit save, and then you are done. And that's how you do the summaries. If you have any questions, be sure to ask.